Hello, wonderful friends. Welcome back to our channel where we share stories that touch your heart and make you think. Today I am going to tell you a very unusual and touching story. A story about a rich man, a lost love, and a surprising meeting that changed everything. Imagine this, a millionaire, a man who has everything money can buy, suddenly freezes in his tracks because he sees a homeless lady who looks just like the wife he lost long ago. Yes, you heard that right. In one blink, his whole world is turned upside down. Stay with me as we dive deep into the details of this incredible encounter. Let me introduce you to our main character. His name is Michael. Michael is a millionaire. He lives in a giant house filled with shiny cars and fancy gadgets. On the outside, his life looks perfect, but even with all his wealth, Michael hides a very deep sadness. Many years ago, he lost his wife, Anna, a kind, warm, loving person who made every day brighter. Think about it. Have you ever lost something very special, like your favorite toy, or even a pet that made you very happy? That pain and those memories stay with you forever. For Michael, Anna was that very special person. No matter how brilliant his life may seem, her memory was always in his heart. It is like having a treasure box inside you, filled with beautiful memories that money cannot replace. Now you might be wondering, what could be so strong that even a rich man would freeze in front of a stranger? Well, our brain is a very clever machine. Every time we see someone who reminds us of someone we love, our mind lights up with vivid pictures and memories. This is exactly what happened to Michael. Even though he could buy expensive things and travel the world, it was Anna's face, so full of kindness, that his heart remembered every day. On a cool, rainy afternoon, Michael stepped out of his sleek car. As he walked slowly down the busy city sidewalk, something caught his eye. There, sitting on a worn-out bench, was a homeless lady. But this was no ordinary moment. It was as if time stopped. Her face, with its gentle eyes and soft smile, was exactly like Anna's. For a split second, Michael's heart pounded, and his mind filled with memories he believed were long gone. Have you ever seen a picture so clear in your mind that you can almost feel it? That is how Michael felt. It wasn't just a look. It was as if fate had brought back the past into his present life. In that moment, our rich man, surrounded by luxury and glamour, felt as if his whole world had shrunk to a tiny point where only love existed. Let's slow down and look more closely at what happened. You see, in our bodies, there is a magic called memory. Our brain is like a super smart computer. It stores all the faces, voices, and little details of the people we love. And sometimes, when we see a face that is very similar, it is like our computer finds a perfect match. For Michael, that match was the homeless lady sitting quietly on the bench. I want you to imagine this. You are playing your favorite game on a tablet. Suddenly, you see an image that reminds you of your best friend. Your brain automatically lights up because it recognizes something very special. Scientists call this a memory trigger. That trigger is like a little spark that makes old memories burn bright again. For Michael, the spark was so strong that his legs felt like they were glued to the spot. With the memory trigger activated, a flood of feelings rushed into him. He remembered Anna's laugh, the way she gently touched his shoulder, and the soft light in her eyes during quiet mornings. But at the same time, he felt deep sorrow because he knew that Anna was gone forever. It was as if he was seeing his past crashing into his present. Now you might ask, why did his heart react so strongly? Well, scientists say that our brain is very good at recognizing faces. a bit like playing a matching game. When it finds a match, it sends a signal to our heart that says, hey, this is important. Even if the match is not perfect, the details can be enough to bring back lost feelings. Michael's reaction is a powerful reminder that love and memories are not easily forgotten. And here is a little funny thought to make you smile. Imagine if you saw someone at school who looked just like your favorite cartoon character. At first, you might even shout, wow, really? Before realizing it's just a funny coincidence. Michael's experience was a bit like that surprise, only it was filled with so much more emotion. It wasn't a cartoon, it was his heart telling him something precious. After that unforgettable moment, Michael took a deep breath. His body wanted to move, but his mind was stuck between the past and the present. Slowly, he turned toward the homeless lady. He walked up to her and softly said, excuse me, ma'am, have we met before? His voice was gentle, as if he was afraid to break a beautiful, delicate spell. The lady looked up, and there was something in her eyes that made Michael's heart skip a beat. In a soft, almost shy voice, she replied, I don't know you, sir, but sometimes faces can be like old friends. That response was simple, yet it carried a deep truth. It made Michael realize that even though they lived in very different worlds, there was a connection between them, a link made by shared memories and hidden emotions. Michael sat down beside her on the cool bench. He told her about Anna. He described how Anna's smile could light up a room and how her laughter was like music on a quiet morning. Each word he spoke echoed with love and loss. The homeless lady listened carefully. Even though she had no fancy clothes or a warm home, her eyes shone with kindness and a gentle understanding. In that humble conversation, Michael began to see that true connections can exist anywhere, even between people who seem very different. During their talk, Michael learned that the woman, who we can call Mary for our story today, had a life that was full of hardships. Mary had once had a happy family, but life took difficult turns. She shared small stories of hope and pain. Michael realized that behind her worn-out clothes and tired eyes was a soul that had loved and lost, just like him. Their conversation was like two broken hearts finding a little bit of understanding in each other. It was the kind of moment that makes you believe in the power of simple acts of kindness. Now let's talk a little bit about how our brain works during these moments of connection. When Michael saw Mary, his brain made a connection, a link between the face in front of him and the face he had loved so much. This is called facial recognition, and it is something our minds do automatically. It is a bit like when you see a friend in a crowd and you instantly call out their name. In Michael's case, that recognition was so strong it made him stop in his tracks. And that, my friends, is a powerful thing to remember. Our hearts and minds can work together to make us feel every beautiful memory again. Here's a small joke to lighten the mood. Imagine if you were so surprised by someone's face that you froze, like a deer in headlights. You might even forget to say anything, just like Michael did for a moment. That funny frozen moment can teach us that even in our most serious times, life can be a little silly and unexpected. As the conversation went on, Michael and Mary shared more than just words. They shared memories, feelings, and lessons from life. Michael began to see that, even though his years with Anna were over, the essence of her love lived on in every kind word and every gentle smile he encountered. Mary, with her own painful history, reminded him that love can be found in the most unexpected places and in the most unlikely people. This meeting changed Michael in a very deep way. For many years, he had built walls around his heart with all his wealth and power. But that day, Mary's simple presence softly cracked those walls. He started to realize that the richest people are not the ones with the biggest bank accounts, but those with the biggest hearts. Money can buy many things, cars, houses, fancy clothes, but it cannot buy or replace love. And love, my dear friends, is the most precious treasure of all. Let's take a moment to think about this. Have you ever given someone your favorite piece of candy, even if it meant you had a little less for yourself? That little act of sharing makes you feel warm inside, and it shows that kindness is more valuable than anything else. Michael felt that same warmth when he spoke with Mary. It was as if every kind word they shared filled the empty spaces in his heart. Now, even though our story is filled with sadness, the loss of a beloved wife, the hardships of life on the streets, it also carries hope. Hope that even in moments of great loss, we can find a spark of love. Hope that a simple smile or a small conversation can bring back light into someone's dark day. And hope that no matter who we are or where we come from, we all carry the same heart that beats with love. As we come to the end of this touching story, let's remember what Michael's movement shows us, that life is full of surprising turns. A single moment, a single face, or a single kind word can change your day, and sometimes your life. Michael went from a lonely millionaire, trapped in memories of the past, to a man filled with hope, ready to help those in need. His story reminds us that everyone, whether rich or poor, carries a story worth listening to. Before we finish today, I want you to remember this. Always keep your heart open and be kind, because you never know whose day you might brighten with a simple smile or a gentle word. Even when you feel small, your kindness can be a giant light in someone's darkness. Thank you so much for watching.